The house sat at the end of a quiet residential street, the kind of neighborhood where evenings were calm and predictable, a few porch lights blowing, occasional cars passing slowly through the intersection. Most of the homes were built around the same time, small, single-story houses designed in the late 1940s and early 1950s. Solid construction, narrow hallways, rooms arranged in simple rectangular layouts. The man who moved into the property had been searching for a place like this for months. He wanted somewhere quiet, somewhere older, a house with character. The property had been on the market for a while, which made it more affordable than most homes in the area. According to the listing, the previous owner had passed away the year before. The house had remained empty since then. When he first walked through it during the viewing, nothing seemed unusual. The floors were original hardwood, the walls had been repainted recently. The layout was simple and easy to understand. Living room near the front, kitchen toward the back, a narrow hallway connecting 3 bedrooms and a small bathroom. The real estate agent explained that the house had undergone small renovations over the decades, but nothing major. No structural changes, no additions. Everything appeared straightforward. After completing the purchase, he moved in during early autumn. The first few days were spent unpacking boxes and arranging furniture. There is a quiet satisfaction that comes with settling into a new home, learning the way sunlight moves through the windows in the afternoon, discovering which floorboards creak and which ones remain silent, hearing the subtle sounds of the structure adjusting to temperature changes at night. Old houses always have their own voices, soft taps in the walls, the faint shifting of wood beams, pipes expanding and contracting when hot water moves through them. None of it felt unusual. In fact, the house felt peaceful, comfortable. For the first 2 weeks, nothing out of the ordinary happened. But sometime during the 3rd week, he began noticing a sound that didn't belong. It started late one night. The man had been lying in bed scrolling through his phone before going to sleep. The room was quiet except for the faint hum of a fan near the window. Outside, the neighborhood had already gone still. Streetlights cast a pale glow across the yard. Somewhere in the distance, a dog barked once and then stopped. Just as he was about to turn off the light, he heard something, a soft sound. At first, he assumed it was coming from outside, but then he realized the noise was much closer. It sounded like a footstep, slow, careful. He sat up slightly in bed and listened. Silence returned for several seconds. Then it happened again, another step. The sound wasn't coming from the hallway. It wasn't coming from the attic. It sounded like it was inside the wall beside his bedroom. He waited, listening carefully. Another faint shift, wood brushing lightly against wood. Then silence. He told himself it was probably an animal. Older houses sometimes attract small animals inside the walls. Squirrels or raccoons occasionally find ways into narrow spaces through vents or damaged siding. The explanation seemed reasonable enough, so he turned off the lamp and went to sleep. The next morning he barely thought about it, but the following night, the sound returned. This time it happened much later, around 2 in the morning. The man awoke suddenly, unsure what had disturbed him. For several seconds he lay still, staring at the dark ceiling. Then he heard it, a slow step, then another. The movement sounded deliberate, not the frantic scratching of an animal, not the scattered tapping of something small. These were steady footsteps, measured, almost cautious. The sound traveled along the length of the wall beside his bed. Then it stopped. The man sat up again, his attention fixed on the wall. Nothing moved, nothing shifted. After several minutes, the silence returned completely.
The next day, he checked the outside of the house, looking for signs that animals might have gotten inside. He walked around the perimeter of the property, examined the siding, checked the vents near the foundation. Everything looked intact. No gaps, no broken panels, no obvious entry points. The explanation didn't quite fit anymore. Still, he tried to ignore it. Old houses make strange sounds. Anyone who has lived in one long enough understands that. But as the days passed, the footsteps didn't stop. They returned almost every night, sometimes faint, sometimes clearer, always coming from the same section of the hallway wall. And eventually, curiosity began to replace the explanations he had been giving himself, because the more he listened, the more it sounded like someone walking inside the wall.